Hello viewers, welcome to Big Man Business YouTube channel. Here is another informative episode of our regular series on countries' top imports and exports commodities. In this video, we're going to be talking about Norway's top imports and exports. Before we go fully into the topic, let's take an overview of Norway's foreign trade landscape. Comprising Scandinavia's western portion of Northern Europe, the Kingdom of Norway shipped $82.8 billion worth of products around the globe in 2020. That figure represents a minus 7.5% slowdown since 2016 and a minus 19.4% decline from 2019 to 2020. Applying a continental lens, 75.7% of Norway's exports by value were delivered to fellow European countries, while 16.2% were sold to Asian importers. Norway shipped another 5% worth of goods to North America. Smaller percentages of 1.8% went to Africa, Latin America excluding Mexico but including the Caribbean got 1%, then Oceania led by Australia got 0.3%. If you're new to the Big Man Business YouTube channel, please subscribe and turn on the notification bell to receive updates on new business expert videos. For more international business news and updates, please visit www.bigmanbusiness.com. Norway's top 15 trading partners. The following is a list of 15 of Norway's biggest trading partners in terms of export sales. That is the nations that imported the greatest number of Norwegian shipments in terms of dollar value in 2020. The percentage of total Norwegian exports for each importing country is also indicated. The United Kingdom with $14.5 billion accounts for 17.5% of total Norwegian exports. Germany receives $9.7 billion, which amount to 11.7%. $8.2 billion for Sweden at 9.9%. $8.2 billion in the Netherlands, also standing at 9.9%. $6.4 billion in China account for 7.8%. France receives $4.2 billion, which is 5.1%. Denmark with $3.5 billion account for 4.2%. $3.3 billion in the United States accounts for 4%. Belgium is worth $3.1 billion, which is 3.8%. $2.3 billion for Poland, which is 2.7%. Spain will receive $1.5 billion, which stand at 1.8%. $1.4 billion in South Korea, representing 1.7%. $1.4 billion for Turkey, accounting for 1.7%. Finland receives $1.3 billion, which accounts for 1.6%. $1.3 billion for Italy, which is 1.5%. In 2020, the previously mentioned 15 trading partners received nearly 4/5, or 84.9% of Norwegian exports. Turkey went up by 68.5%, China up by 51.1%, and South Korea was among Norway's major importers that increased their imports from Norway at the quickest rate from 2019 to 2020, up by 23.5%. Importers in Spain went down by 35.1%, Germany was down by 34.3%, France went down by 30.1%, and the United Kingdom led the year-over-year decliners, down by 29.5%. Norway's top 10 exports. Geographically, its closest trading partners are Finland, Russia, and Denmark. The Kingdom of Norway shipped $82.8 billion worth of goods around the globe in 2020, down by minus 7.5% since 2016 and down by minus 19.4% from 2019 to 2020. Based on the average exchange rate for 2020, the Norwegian krone has depreciated by minus 12.1% against the US dollar since 2016 and declined by minus 7% from 2019 to 2020. Norway's weaker local currency makes Norwegian exports paid for in stronger US dollars relatively less expensive for international buyers. From a continental perspective, 75.7% of Norway's exports by value were delivered to European countries, while 16.2% were sold to Asian importers. Norway shipped another 5% worth of goods to North America. Smaller percentages of 1.8% went to Africa, Latin America excluding Mexico but including the Caribbean got 1%, then Oceania led by Australia with 0.3%. The latest available country-specific data shows that 80.1% of products exported from Norway were bought by importers in the United Kingdom with 17.5% of the global total, Germany with 11.7%, Sweden with 9.9%, the Netherlands with 9.9%, China with 7.8%, France with 5.1%, Denmark with 4.2%, the United States with 4.0%, Belgium with 3.8%, Poland with 2.7%, Spain with 1.8%, and South Korea with 1.7%. Given Norway's population of 5.4 million people, its total $82.8 billion in 2020 exports translates to roughly $15,400 for every resident in the Nordic nation. The following export product groups represent the highest dollar value in Norwegian global shipments during 2020. Also shown is the percentage share each export category represents in terms of overall exports from Norway. Mineral fuels including oil with $40.9 billion account for 49.4% of total exports. Fish with $10.7 billion accounts for 13%. Machinery including computers with $4.1 billion accounts for 5%. Aluminum with $3.3 billion accounts for 4%. Electrical machinery, equipment with $2.4 billion account for 2.9%. Optical, technical, medical apparatus with $1.5 billion accounts for 1.8%. Nickel with $1.3 billion accounts for 1.5%. Organic chemicals with $1.2 billion account for 1.4%. Iron, steel with $1.1 billion account for 1.3%. Vehicles with $942.1 million account for 1.1%. Norway's top 10 exports accounted for 81.3% of the overall value of its global shipments. Nickel was the slowest declining among the top 10 export categories, down by -0.9% year-over-year since 2019. In second place for decreasing export sales were iron and steel, which slowed by -3%. Norway's shipments of vehicles posted the third lowest drop in value, down by -3.9% year-over-year. The leading decliner among Norway's top 10 export categories was mineral fuels including oil, which fell by 28.4%. Norway's top 10 imports. A Nordic nation in northwestern Europe that shares its long eastern border with Sweden, the Kingdom of Norway's imports cost a total of $81.4 billion in 2020. That dollar amount reflects a 12.1% increase since 2016 but a 5.2% drop from 2019 to 2020. Based on the average exchange rate for 2020, the Norwegian krone has depreciated by -12.1% against the US dollar since 2016 and declined by -7% from 2019 to 2020. Norway's weaker local currency makes Norwegian imports paid for in stronger US dollars relatively more expensive when converted, starting from the Norwegian krone. From a continental perspective, approaching two-thirds or 63.9% of Norway's total imports by value in 2020 were purchased from fellow European countries. Trade partners in Asia supplied over a fifth or 21.9% of import purchases by Norway, while 9.6% worth of goods originated from North America. Smaller percentages came from exporters in Latin America with 2.6% excluding Mexico but including the Caribbean, Africa with 1.6%, then Oceania with 0.3% led by Australia. Given Norway's population of 5.4 million people, its total $81.4 billion in 2020 imports translates to roughly $15,100 in yearly product demand from every person in the northernmost Scandinavian peninsula country. Norway is not a member of the European Union. The following product groups represent the highest dollar value in Norway's import purchases during 2020. Also shown is the percentage share each product category represents in terms of overall imports into Norway. Machinery including computers with $11.3 billion accounting for 13.9% of total imports. Vehicles with $9.5 billion account for 11.6%. Electrical machinery, equipment with $8.1 billion account for 9.9%. Articles of iron or steel with $3.9 billion account for 4.8%. Mineral fuels including oil with $3.5 billion account for 4.3%. Furniture, bedding, lighting, signs, prefabricated buildings with $2.9 billion account for 3.5%. Optical, technical, medical apparatus with $2.8 billion account for 3.4%. Plastics, plastic articles with $2.5 billion account for 3.1%. Pharmaceuticals with $2.4 billion account for 2.9%. Nickel with $2 billion account for 2.4%. Norway's top 10 imports accounted for 60% of the overall value of its product purchases from other countries. Nickel posted the fastest growth in value among Norway's top 10 import categories, up by 12.6% from 2019 to 2020. In second place for improving import purchases were the pharmaceuticals category via its 5.9% gain. Norwegian imports of plastic, including articles made from plastic, recorded the third fastest gain, up 1.7%. Leading Norway's declining top categories were imported articles made from iron or steel, down by -12%, trailing mineral fuels including oil, down by -36.2%. Thanks for watching this video. We are open to suggestions. Kindly drop your comments in the comment box and don't forget to subscribe to the Big Man Business YouTube channel. See you in the next video.